All right, so here we are at Marquand. So it's down a pipe stem here. I parked right here, but we will walk down. So Burke Center is a gorgeous neighborhood. I don't know if you guys looked at any in here while you were in town, but it is beautiful. It's kind of more like Wakefield than like Kings Park. So do with that as you will. But it's a lovely neighborhood. We looked pretty hard at a couple houses in here. So it is a bit further from 495. You know, that's the trade-off. But Burke Center, the road you would take is really pretty. So if you're going to sit in traffic on any road, that would be the road I would choose. So there's your neighbor's house. And then over here, so, you know, I wouldn't call it a shared driveway, right? Technically, it's a pipe stem. It would feel a bit like a shared driveway, but I can't imagine it would be that big of a deal. So then here is the house here. So looks nice so far. You're gonna get a little bit of road noise probably from here. Nothing tremendous, not like a couple other ones I have been to recently. So, but a little bit. Let's walk around it real quick. So 2 cars parking here. This would be an additional parking or turnaround space, right? So final siding looks pretty good. There's a couple, you know, little things here. Nothing alarming. It's just kind of dirty. Houses get dirty, right? So gorgeous screened porch. Nice deck area here. It's in pretty good shape. Could probably use, well, I don't know if this is just like dirt or if it's kind of like stain wearing off. I think it's a little bit of both. So a couple years, maybe at most, from a refinish on the deck here, but I don't feel any soft wood or anything, you know, that suggests it would need to be replaced or anything. You just have to kind of reglaze it with something. So beautiful here. Look at those huge skylights. Oh man, can't wait to get in there. Okay, yard. So yep, you can hear the road noise now. Usually I reduce the noise in these videos. I'll try and remember not to do that on this one so that you can hear it. It's not like all encompassing, but you know, and I'll tell you if I hear it from the house. So beautiful space back here. This is not like small dog fenced, but it does look to be mostly child fenced. Okay, so back of the house. It's pretty. Oh my goodness, look at that bush. Okay, sorry, let me stay focused. All right, siding looks good. Roof looks pretty good. That's the radon mitigation there. I think, maybe, I don't know, some kind of exhaust. We'll take a look at that. That is an interesting way to do that. That's more for the home inspector than for me, but we'll take a look and see if we can figure out what that is. It looked like radon at first, but I'm not sure. So here we go. Drainage looks good. Bushes are, you know, mostly cut back from the house. Jim's going to tell you to cut them back a little bit more so you don't get bugs. Lots of little critters live over here. So the yard is not fenced on the sides. And this, you know, this area has a pretty strong HOA. So you want to consult with them on what exactly kind of fence you could put up. But the exterior condition looks good. You know, there's some cobwebs and some like random, you know, nicks on the siding, but it looks pretty good. So let's look here. Cute, little, super cute. All right, we'll head inside. All right, so I'm waiting for the Bluetooth to load so I can get in the lockbox. But this is a really nice hedge for a little bit of privacy. This doesn't seem to be a main kind of street behind you here. It is behind me currently, is more of a main thoroughfare, but this gives you a lot of privacy from, you know, so here's what you'd see from the front porch. Like they have, you know, those will become more fluffy, what's the word, whatever. They'll become larger and then you'll get more privacy, and then you do have this here. All right, I just stepped in the house. So here is the front door, and we will walk in to lovely floors here, and we're going to turn some lights on. Maybe there we go. Okay, so yeah, nice floors here. These either were like the, you know, like finished on site, not finished in place, like pre-finished hardwood or an engineered hardwood. Maybe both. It's, you know, they're not mutually exclusive, but they look like they're in pretty good shape. You know, they're not brand new. They do have some scuffs. They are kind of that classic, like slightly yellow, not super yellow, but like a little bit yellow, neutral tone. That was a lot of words. Here's the living room here. Windows look like they're in good shape. They are vinyl inserts, likely not the original windows. So this is a nice sized room here. This is to the left off the entryway. So, great space, crown molding. It's a nice kind of like beige color. It's a little cooler of a beige, I would say, than some beiges. Dining room through here, very nice. Got that lots of space in here. So, you can't go too much longer here. You could push it back. And you could go, there's space here for a slightly larger table. But, with this kind of, you needing to go through here, this is probably the right size table, but you could go a bit larger if yours happen to be a bit larger. So beautiful windows with the azalea there. All right, so kitchen. Okay. So not a ton of lighting in the kitchen. Enough, I think. Okay. Sorry, I'm all like turned around today. This is granite. These are nice kitchen cabinets. They're in pretty good shape. They're not new, but they're in pretty good shape. I mean, they could use a bit of a wipe down, but I imagine that you would wipe them down anyway. They do have some cool features, like the kind of in drawer type of thing. So they would need a cleaning, but they look like nice cabinets. So dishwasher looks good. Let's see here. These all look pretty good. So full-size sink overlooks some more azaleas, and you could trim those if you want to see the kids playing in the backyard. So this is the same floor in here. It looks like it runs. That's a different one, but so far we have the same floor in here. So as far as pantry space, you have nice big cabinets here. These do look to be base cabinet depth. So they're not the like wall cabinet depth. So they don't have the slide out shelves, which would be a really nice feature. It's really hard to use cabinets that are super deep like that, but you could add that stuff later if you wanted to. Fridge. And then here we have kind of coat closet. Could be, half coat closet, half pantry, kind of an all-purpose closet, I would say. So this is in a location that it could be kind of either one of those things. Let me see if there's another coat closet. We'll check that in a second. Trade-offs on this kitchen is there's not a lot of really meaningful workspace. So you might want to, you might want to put more of a tasking island there, over to your comfort on that, of course. But as far as like clean dishes, dirty dishes, this is the workspace. So that's a 24-inch cabinet there. So if that gives you some idea, you've got about 24 inches, maybe over here. So that's the downside of this particular kitchen, I would say, as someone who likes to cook. So, but you do have this big space here, and you could put in something different than this. All right. So here we have a pantry. This is shallow depth, which is easier to use. So very nice. This is probably the basement. Yes, we will go down there shortly. Off the kitchen, we have this additional kind of like den area. And sorry, I'm looking for light switches. Goodness. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, luck is not in our favor today. So we have no lights in here. I apologize. I hit multiple switches. So this is a smaller room here. This one looked a little bit bigger in the listing photos, I would say, than it is. The front living room was a lot larger than this room. They do have the corner TV here, fireplace, looks like wood burning. Holy wine corks. This is wood paneling that has been painted. So it's like an off-white. I know it's hard because there's no light. I'm sorry. You have a little mini bar area here, and the paneling kind of continues here. And then this is drywall on this wall. So this is, love seat size. That's like that IKEA chair. So you could, this room, great playroom maybe. Not really probably large enough for a living room for a family of 5. But that's just my personal opinion. You could do a lot with this space. So out here, which is what I really want to see. Oh, okay. Okay, so I got it. There is a lock right there. I tugged like 10 times before I realized there was a lock. All right, so screened, and an alarm is beeping in the house. So hopefully we won't get the police here. But screened porch out here, very nice. This is wood. This is deck material that has been painted. You could floor over it. You could repaint it. You could do lots of different things. So this is gorgeous up here. Beautiful skylight there. Old school fan. You could swap it out. No big deal. This skylight could use a bit of a wash. I'm trying to get the light right there. You can see kind of at the bottom. I don't think it's damaged. It just dirty stuff falls down the roof. So lovely area in here. It feels very expansive with the gabled roof and the high ceilings. So this lady loves plants like I love plants. Mini fridge. So great space out here for sure. Let's head back inside. Okay. So let's head over here and see what's over here. I'm thinking the utility room probably. All right, so here's the entryway where we came in. And then through here, we have the powder room. Super cute. This has the same floor. So this room has a different floor. It's more brown. It's not yellow. It looks like an LVP. It's fine. I mean, it doesn't match, but it doesn't look bad. So here is the powder room, which is super cute. Looks like a kind of a quartz counter, little vanity mirror. Super cute, smells clean. And then let's check out this way. We will see the utility room. This is cute. It is kind of like I don't know. It's not a mint. It's not a teal. It'll come to me later. It's a pretty like aqua. It's like a light aqua. Okay. It's like a light gray aqua. Washer, dryer. So there's not a ton of space to add like additional cabinetry or shelving in here as is. You could put a couple cabinets or a big corner cabinet here maybe. So there's not a ton of space, I feel like, to make this more efficient, but it is fine the way it is. Here we have lovely 2-car garage with a full-size 2-car garage door, which is good. Those little 1-car doors are a little harder. Lots of space for storage in here, and then a door likely to the exterior out there. So yeah, great looking garage. I mean, it looks like a garage. So we won't spend a lot of time in there. So let's head back this way, and then let's check out the upstairs. So again, this living room is a lot larger. Not twice the size. I would say this is about 30 to 40% larger than that other room. So it's a pretty big difference in size. Okay, so let's go upstairs. Oh, these are cute. Okay, so this is a sticker, right? This is not actual ceramic tile. It's a sticker. I think you could remove it if you wanted to. As far as banister here, I'll take a look here. I think that's the area that you meant, but these are a little further apart than current code would probably allow for. We recently replaced the newel posts and the handrail in the house. So I can tell you it is a bit of a project. And it's not a super cheap one, but if you can do it yourself, it's not too bad. I can send you a couple websites if you want that. But up here, you actually have a pretty good setup for replacing the handrail here if you wanted to, because there's just kind of straight lines. So yeah, I mean, I think they say they're supposed to be like 3.5 inches, right? So this is probably more like 4.5 to 5 inches. I would say it's not up to what we would consider current code. So the same flooring that's downstairs is continued up here. So the stairs are different. The stairs are probably the original red oak treads. These are that same floor. You can kind of see that's downstairs. And then it's the same floor in here too, but it is run the other direction. So cute little window seat at the top of the stairs. And then when you go right, you have these lovely French doors into the primary suite. So from your primary suite, you can sit in your chair and see your beautiful screen porch and, well, a shed. But it's a good looking shed. This one has a shed too. So this is a king size bed. This is a very large bed frame. It fits perfectly in the room. There's plenty of space to walk through here with this dresser. So lots of room in here. These are really cool doors. So closet here. That's his closet, it seems. And then we'll kind of mosey through here. So this window lets in a lot of light. And then this is her closet. So two of the same size closets, I would say. There is kind of like a basic organizer set installed in there. And the primary bathroom is lovely. All right. So we have double vanity, plenty of counter space, some drawers. This is in pretty good condition. It's a little bit beat up. There's some nicks in the wood. You could paint it if you wanted to, but it could use a wipe down. Otherwise, it's in pretty good shape. This is a used house, right? So cool mirrors, nice shower here. Maybe slightly larger than like dorm shower. So this is not a big shower. This is a normal sized Northern Virginia, not $2 million house shower. Okay. So for what that's worth, it looks pretty well tiled. It could use a cleaning and it would need to be re-siliconed. You can see kind of down there, over there. So I know Matt's handy. That's really easy for someone who's used silicone before. Not a big deal. Bathtub, it is a jetted tub. It looks like you have a cool kind of tile surround. Okay, dare I ask? All right, so plumbing access. So that's an interesting choice, but easier to repair the bathtub than to have to rip the entire surround out. So kudos, right? Toilet, very tall cabinet. You would not hit your head on that if you were getting up from the toilet in the middle of the night. It's a different look for sure, but it is efficient and it is a good use of space. So beautiful window here. It looks like there's some blinds. All right, let's head out to see the other bedrooms. So, but the floor feels good. Everything feels solid. It's not super creaky. It's a wood floor, so you're going to get some creaky, but all right. So you have like the primary, we'll call this the primary wing here, and then we'll call this the peasant wing over here. Just kidding. But here we have a very large linen closet. So that is nice. That is a big sized closet. And this may be another one. Amazing. 2 linen closets. I'm jealous. Big, deep. They've got lots of towels. So lots of space there. Hallway bathroom. Ooh, the hallway bathroom is nice. Okay, so single vanity, right? This is plenty of space for double vanity if you wanted to upgrade later. If you didn't, no big deal. There's a lot of counter space here. Lots of room for multiple toothbrushes for little boys to brush their teeth at the same time. Floor, ceramic tile, the grout. So, the grout's dirty, right? This probably used to be white grout. So, yeah, it's a lived-in house. Toilet, bidet situation there. It looks like a slightly lower cabinet. It does look like there's an exhaust fan in here. You have these cute little shutters. So standard bathtub, right? This is probably the original. Yeah, it's white. It could use a recaulk, right? Not a big deal. It looks fine. I don't see any broken tiles. I don't see any tiles that are like crooked or like caving in or anything signifying. Actually, this is an insert, I think. Yeah, this is an insert. This is not tile. So it's probably like that PVC. It looks pretty good. It still needs a recaulk, but otherwise it looks fine. This is a cool door up here. This house wins the door competition for sure. Fan works. All right. So then we have the 3 bedrooms right here. So we'll just start here. This one's good sized. Lots of space in here. That's a full size bed. Pretty windows. Wow. Lots of light in this one. Let's peek at the floor. Rugs make me suspicious. Not going to lie. Nope. Floor looks good. Oh, does the color change? Let's see. I don't think so. I think there is a difference in tone kind of from here to here. That, it could just be the way the boards were like randomized. But this is definitely more yellow over here than it is right here. So that could be the kind of ambering that, we saw in that one house. It's hard for me to say, but it could be that, or it could just be the way they were randomly arranged. Put the more red ones here and the more yellow ones here. I don't know. It doesn't look bad. I don't think it would ever really bother you. I have kind of a weird eye for certain things. Closet. Very nice. All right. So this is the first room. We'll call this room number 1. And then, kid room number 2. Also very nice. Full size bed. Lots of room in here. Windows on both sides. Man, that is awesome. So I'm assuming this is the same size closet, but let's take a quick peek. Yes. So is it here? Let's take a peek under the rug. Oh. I mean, right. Vacuum. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see any damage. There is definitely a color shift here. So that's probably what we saw in the other room. They probably had a cabinet here or something for a while. I don't know if you can see it in the video. Not a huge deal, right? We're going to see that in a lot of places. That's what happens when you have sunshine in your house. So attic access. Okay, so this corner room is definitely smaller. This might be the nursery room. It looks like it had some like cedar planking in here. This doesn't look like traditional wood paneling. It looks more of like it was one of those cedar planks, which are nice, right? Painted over. We have some DIY light fixture situation in here. Yeah, cute little room. They have it set up, I don't know, as like an extra furniture room maybe, but you do get some light from this window here. So this kind of overlooks the neighbor and then the pipestem. So the painting condition, I'm not allowed to paint at my house, because I'm not very good at painting. And so this room kind of looks like I painted it. I would say, but not as a criticism, just as I want to be your eyes and your ears while I'm here. So if you're better at painting, then that's an easy fix. So here was this, the situation you were asking about. This is super tall, and that definitely meets the requirement for code. Yeah, those are spaced. I mean, I don't think a baby would stick their head in there, but maybe. And then this gap here, I know little boys, right? Got to watch out for little boys. So yeah, I would probably factor in a new handrail to the price on this one. The good news is I don't think it would be that expensive. So, or you could build a wall with like a little shallow bookshelf here. That'd be really cool. Anyway, okay, don't mind me. Let's go find the basement. Let's see, it was in the kitchen. All right, so entryway, living room, dining room, coat closet / pantry, actual pantry, basement. All right, so these stairs are a little different. They're fine. They're basement stairs. Who cares? We're going to get downstairs, and this looks like it's probably a vinyl. Most people don't put laminate downstairs. It could also be a laminate. We need to find the light switch. Oh, there's a good space down here. It would be nicer if it had lights. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to try harder to find the lights. Oh, another switch. Yes. Okay, we're in business. All right, in here. So this is not a bedroom, right? This is coming. These would be cool if they didn't like blink at a really high speed. So the light bulbs under there, I don't know if you could tell in the video, but they definitely blink. So this is set up as probably guest room / slight little like craft room situation. So there is this little tiny window here. Now, oh, it's under a deck. Yeah, or under the sunroom maybe, or the screen porch. So no fire exit there for sure. And so this is not a to code bedroom, okay? So depending on how often you used it as a guest space and your own personal comfort level, everyone's going to have a different feeling on that. So I won't even weigh in because that's a personal decision. This is a great sized closet in here. They do have cat backpacks and a lot of plants. So I would probably like them. Paneling, painted. That's probably like an HVAC thing. The ceiling is high in here. It has a full height ceiling. So we see the drop ceiling. It's not like sexy, but it's not low. It doesn't feel low in any way. It's very nice. The floor is beautiful. It's a very contemporary brown. It's not gray. The walls in here, it's hard to tell because the light is wacky and then super warm out there. But I would say maybe like a beige, like a warm gray, maybe a grayish. So anyway, great space down here. Not a bedroom, right? But could be a guest room. Cedar closet. Ooh, fancy. And this is cute right here. So that was nice. And then in here is another awesome space. So you have this kind of like reception area here. And then we have clearly a love of books. And then, oh, it keeps going. Okay, I'm here for it. Here we go. So these are not egresses. They're too high off the ground and they're not large enough for a human to get into. Now they could potentially be turned into an egress. Last time I checked, so don't quote me on this, okay? It's like $4,000 to $5,000 to have someone come and do it. So just one thing to keep in mind. And I don't know that you would need to, over to you on that. But for the cost, it is possible. There are windows here. That is a well. You could have someone come out. Some sort of meter there. So this is a great size space, and it's definitely big enough to have a zone here and a zone here if you want like a kid hangout and an adult hangout. Let's see. So down here, I'm seeing some kind of baseboard heating. So I don't know. I wasn't really looking for that upstairs. I don't see a lot of that. Those may not be in use. That we can look in the MLS and ask the inspector, that kind of thing. But this is cool over here. So Legos. That's literally what I was thinking is, oh my gosh, can you imagine like a Lego village? Would be beautiful. They do have some lighting in there. This has the drop ceiling in here too, but it does have lights. And this is big. This is a big space. So here we have another closet, which is very nice. It's wood. It even smells like wood in there, which is nice. And here we have some utilities. So this is like the back of the utilities. All right, let's see here. Alarm. Here, I'm going to pause this real quick while I look and see how old this thing is. All right, well, joke's on me because I don't see a date on any of these things. And of course, there's no history of work here. But it looks fine. This is like a little gross, maybe. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if that's a big deal. You're supposed to clean it every once in a while. There is like a leak detector. That looks pretty fancy and high tech. So, I don't know. This probably installed late last year. So super new. This looks good. This is like, whoa, this is fancy. This is 21st century water heater for sure. So I see Petro heating oil and services. All right. So heating oil is a thing. We talked a little bit about that at a different property. Yeah. So just make a mental note of that and to look into that. People, they love it. And it's like $600,000 to have natural gas added. I asked. Actually, that home was in Burke Center too. I think I told you guys about that. In here, we have very cool large closet. There's the radon mitigation. It appears to be looking. There is a negligible amount of radon in the home currently. Great news, especially if you have people hanging out in the basement. People with small lungs. Underneath the stairs there's more storage. Obviously, this would be more usable, if you didn't have the shelf there. But lots of great space in here. I don't know if you'd need it, but could be like a cool Harry Potter closet for the kids. So, yeah, great house. Trade-offs, right? They all have trade-offs. But this is a great house.